Hey there, everybody. First, I want to say happy Valentine's Day. Second, welcome. I'm glad you found me. My name's Sherry, and around these parts, we talk about recovery, reviews, and other things. Whatever comes up, we're going to talk about it. Today, I just wanted to share with y'all for a little bit the story about when my mama died. Might as well start there. It was March 31st, 2016. I went to my pain management doctor. We lived with my mom at the time because she wasn't in the greatest health, but she wasn't in bad health. Told her I loved her and I would be back in a little bit. An hour later, I was on my way back home, and I never locked my keys in my car. But that day when I went to the doctor, I locked my keys in my car, and I had my youngest son with me. And I called my mama, because come get me. Lock my keys in my car, mama. And she wouldn't answer the phone. And I was like, what in the world? Called. Couldn't get her to answer the phone. So I called my stepdad at the time and told him, I'm like, hey, I locked my keys in my car. Can you go get mama? She's not answering the phone. I need her to please come get me. I'm kind of stuck at the doctor right now. And hung up the phone with him and didn't hear anything. And I get a text from my daughter-in-law at the time saying that something was wrong with my mom and that she would be coming to get me. It's like, okay, what's going on? She comes and she picks me up, and she didn't tell me a whole lot. She just said that the ambulance was at the house and she was going to get me there. I was like, okay. Of course, I was worried at the time. And that showed me at the immediate time that everything happens for a reason. Because if it was me, if I was driving, panicking, thinking something was wrong with my mama, I probably would have wrecked my car. So the big man upstairs was watching out for me, and I think that's why I locked my keys in my car after I never locked my keys in my car. We get to the house, and there's paramedics, there's cops, there's all kinds of people there. They wouldn't let me into my mom's room because they were working on her. And I was crying. I was worried. They wouldn't tell me. And now, mind you, this is Sumner County, Tennessee. Wouldn't tell me nothing. All my kids was there, my 3 kids. And kept hearing, whispers about her overdosing, which there's no way my mama would have overdosed, even accidentally overdosed. There was no way. And if that was the case, why was nobody Narcaning her? You know what I mean? Like, Narcan was around. If she overdosed, why was you not Narcaning her, is what my thinking was. But anyway, keep going. Nobody's Narcaning my mom, but yet they say she's overdosing. Okay, I'm upset. I'm crying. I have detectives that pull up. They're questioning me. They're questioning my children without me present. 2 of which were minors at the time. Being very rude and hateful. Incompassionate, I guess, would be a better word instead of hateful. I'm sorry. Very uncompassionate. They proceeded to interrogate me. Of course, like I said, I was in pain management at the time. I had to go get my pain medicine out of my purse and provide it to them so they could count my pain medicine. I'm not the one who overdosed. My mama is, I don't know, something's going on. You won't tell me what's going on, but you want to count my pain medicine. One day I'll be able to talk, just not today. So I did, whatever. and still get the questions. The rude detective, I'll never forget his face. I don't remember his name, but I'll never forget his face. And I'm crying, and I couldn't see my mom still. They still would not let me in to see my mom. My kids were crying. We're all worried about my mom. Nobody's given us any answers. And then I hear them say we needed to move because they were going to be carrying her out to the ambulance. So me and my 3 children and my daughter-in-law at the time, we all go outside, we stand on the porch, and this Sumner County emergency ambulance people and sheriff's office people, Gallatin police, I believe it may be, they proceed to carry my mother out with a sheet, not a stretcher, mind you, not a stretcher. It was a sheet. There was like 3 or 4 guys on each side holding onto this sheet to carry like a sling, carrying her outside right past me and my children. And I noticed that they had cut all her clothes off. She was nude. She had a belt underneath her breast, which were nude, exposed for the whole world and neighborhood to see. Thank you so much, Sumner County. It was the most shameful example I can say of emergency and police that I've ever seen in my life. Carried her out right past me and my children, and my youngest was 9 years old at the time, like that. That's compassion 101, I think. By the time they got down to the side, they got down the stairs of the porch to the sidewalk going to the ambulance, and I had yelled and screamed at them a few times to please cover her up. Please cover her up. She was nude, exposing her whole body to the whole neighborhood. How do you do that to a person and their family with young children? They finally covered her up as they were putting her in the ambulance. After they pulled off that rude detective from Gallatin Police or Sumner County Police, I think it was Gallatin Police, said that they had a search warrant and that everybody needed to be out of the house because they suspected drug activity. Okay. They ransacked the house. Let me back up a little bit. Before he said about the search warrant, this asshole decided to just simply say, your mom died. As I was already crying. She was my best friend. I was her only child. And that's how you relay news that my loved one had passed away. Okay. Karma's gonna get you. And I hope you're watching this because karma's gonna come for you. My son, my youngest son, went over a month with hardly sleeping because every time he closed his eyes and went to sleep, he saw Nana with blood coming out of her mouth. I hope you're watching this. I had to bring him to Vanderbilt for a week to get treated because he was so delirious from not sleeping. He's better now. But because of you, whatever your name is, Gallatin Police Department, Sumner County, you traumatized me and my children. I hope you know that. And I hope you have to answer to that when it's your time. And I hope your loved ones are treated with more compassion than you treated me and mine on March 31st, 2016. Anyway, sorry. I had to vent for a minute. Petty just comes out sometimes. So he proceeds to tell me that she died. I cried. I fell to the floor crying. Didn't know what to do. Then, of course, we have a search warrant to search the house because we suspect drug activity and, yada, 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 whatever. I'm crying. And, okay, you're going to traumatize me and my kids some more. You carried my mama out in front of me and my kids with all of her glory for the world to see. And about that time, because they had the search warrant, then we could go to the hospital. We stayed around the hospital for a little while they were ransacking through the house looking for whatever they were looking for. I don't know, drugs, because they thought my mom was some big drug dealer, whatever. The doctor at the hospital finally pulled me and, at the time, my stepfather in to talk to us and told us that she had had a massive heart attack. If I was sitting right next to her when it happened, there's nothing I could have done. Nothing. She didn't know what hit her. He asked if I wanted to say goodbye. And of course I did. That was my mama. He warned me that she didn't quite look like herself. She was a little bloated. But I still wanted to say goodbye to my mom. So he walked me into the room. And I seen her there. She looked very peaceful. I was crying, of course. I had already called my grandma up in Michigan, my aunt in Chattanooga, and let them know what was going on. Said goodbye to my mama. And was so lost, I didn't know what to do. I went immediately to my employer at the time, crying, and asked them what kind of bereavement I was able to get that my mom had just died. And I was informed that I had a full week. I ended up getting a total of 9 days, I think it was, if I remember, at the time for that. And I needed it. I tell y'all, I was so lost. She was truly my best friend. I couldn't go back I barely went back in the house to see, get a couple clothes for me and my youngest son. And that was it. I couldn't go in the house. It hurt. It was too traumatizing. Went through my bereavement. Greatly grieved. Had a little dinner for a few immediate family, my grandma, my aunt, and a couple cousins and some friends at Famous Dave's in Old Hickory. That was nice. But that started me on drugs really bad. I mean, I had already been taking my pain pills, not quite as prescribed. But that was the point that was my turning point right there. After that, about a month or 6 weeks after she had passed, I finally grew the ability to talk about my mom without crying so much. And at that time, I called the emergency ambulance people just to let them know what had happened and to please train the people better so it doesn't happen to another family member. And when the supervisor told me that somebody from my family had already called, I was stunned because I was the voice of the family. And this is the first time I had called. So I wonder to this day who called. I think it may have been somebody in the neighborhood that called them. I'll never forget that day. It was a really hard day, y'all. Losing a parent, especially one that you're close with, that was hard. That's why I turned to drugs, to forget about it. And we will continue this about recovery. April 20th will be 5 years that me and my husband have sober. And I'm very thankful and grateful to God for that, because without God up above, I wouldn't be here today. Thank you. And just remember, karma's real. I've seen it come around. I've seen it. Make sure you put some good juju out, people, so you can get good juju back. Thanks, y'all. I'd like to see what you have to say in the comments. Please remember to keep it positive, okay? This is an area for people to come for recovery. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Y'all have a great day, and happy Valentine's Day.